So today I thought I'd do something a little bit different and kind of fun. You may or may not know that I've been working on my next book, which is a queer fantasy novel called I Dreamt of Flight. But as I'm continuing to work on revising it and moving it towards publication, I thought it might be fun to read to you the first chapter as it currently stands. It might change, who knows? I've worked on this for about a year, so I feel pretty solid about this. But I'd love to hear your thoughts. How is it pulling you in? How are you engaged with it? Does this story already resonate with you in any way? So I thought I'd share a little bit of what's going on with me, and I hope it inspires you on your journey towards wholeness and self-discovery. So thank you for listening. I Dreamt of Flight, Chapter 1. I didn't intentionally set those guys on fire. I am no arsonist. I didn't even know I was capable of such things. Even if they deserved it, and they did, I would never purposefully roast another creature. They may have made my life a living hell, but they did not deserve an attempt to burn them to a crisp. I might throw up again. I did twice last night. The queasiness rolls over me when I close my eyes and envision what happened yesterday. I see myself opening my mouth to scream, but instead, out rushes a torrent of flames. The memories, whoa. Then there's the gut-twisting, nerve-tingling terror of being glued to the television all night, waiting for my picture to show up on the news screen. Wanted, teenage terrorist, warning, do not approach. The heartbeat-driving, mind-wringing dread of keeping an ear trained toward the front door for the noise of combat boots on cement and tactical gear breaking through wood. Men arriving to truss me up and cart me off a caged monster. It's all too much. I peel and scarf down a fifth banana, hoping that this one will finally quell my nausea. Mom eyes me warily from across the table. She knows something is amiss. I normally eat a lot, but not this much. Well, seldom do I anyways. I refill my cereal bowl and quickly gulp most of it. 4 refills this morning, up from the typical 3. Mom can always tell when I'm eating my feelings. Bless her, though, for not asking me about it. I know she feels guilty for mentioning it too often, and the ensuing insinuation regarding my burgeoning weight. It's not like I enjoy having to upgrade my pant size every few months. Honey, it's almost 7, she says, glancing at her watch. She pulls back her chin-length blonde hair to put in the same simple diamond studs that she's worn every day I can remember. I've often wanted to ask where they came from, if they have any special sentimental value, but on the off chance they were a gift from my father, I've refrained. You better get a move on so you're not late. I nod and chug the rest of the weedy dregs. My stomach is still heaving and I briefly consider one final refill. Instead, I grab what remains of the cluster of bananas and throw them into my bag. I can munch them along the way. She'll be having to stop for more food for me on her way home from work anyways. I cross to where Mom is flipping through a stack of documents, choosing which ones she needs to add to her bag this morning. I give her a quick peck on the cheek and say, "I love you, Mom." "I love you too, Bondi. Have a great day," she says, forcing cheerfulness. I notice my birth certificate in the stack. Why is she holding that, I wonder? She notices me looking and quickly covers it with the other documents. Her eyes are tired and concerned. Not that those two expressions are uncommon. Being a single parent and having me for a son has pretty much permanently affixed both expressions into place. But I sense that there's something heavier there too. A hidden sadness that has been breaking through of late. I wonder if she somehow knows. Maybe somebody texted her? No, she would have said something. I imagine her heaviness stems from the continued disappointment of realizing what I am becoming. I shouldn't even be going to school, events being what they are, but I don't really have another choice. I would have to explain everything to Mom if I asked to stay behind, and it's not like there's a friend's house at which I could camp out. No, I will just have to be brave and face whatever penance is mine to claim. I hurt those guys. Whether I willingly meant to or not doesn't matter. These were my actions and I will have to stand accountable for them. At least that's what I keep telling myself. It's easier said than done, I note, as my knees threaten to give way. The morning is gray and gloomy. The sort of dawn that makes you want to curl up under the covers with a book and hide out. The temperature is still warm enough, though, to still feel grateful for living in this part of the world. It's that brief sliver of autumn before the air burns your lungs with frost. Soon the ice on the ground will be more than paper thin. Soon the earth will be slick with frozen rivulets, permafrost, and dandelion-like flurries. I hate winter, but the mid-fall here is glorious. Today the clouds hug the ground low and heavy. They appropriately seem ready to burst with teardrops. As bad as yesterday was, I have an inkling that today will be even worse. How could I have been so stupid? If I had made different choices, I would never have felt like I had to fight for my life. I should have known better. Stay in control, Bondi. If there's anything you've learned over your nearly 18 years, it's that. You have always got to be the better one. I sigh and scratch the elastic webbing wound round my torso that binds down my abnormalities. I didn't bother to rewrap this morning, so it's clumpy in places and itches. I really should have taken a shower. I spent the whole night sweating and probably stink like a wet animal. I can feel the cloying, salty remains on my off-color skin. It takes me almost a full hour to walk all the way to school. Normally, I don't mind the distance, but today the walk feels like a pallbearer's march, a long, slow death walk to an inaudible dirge. My legs are intransigent. I am pulling my shoes out of boot-sucking mud with every step. I don't want to go. By the time I make it to campus, the sun is peeking its weary head above the horizon. The clouds make it wraith-like, a spectral memory of a sun. It casts opalescent lines on the sparkling grass, which crunches under my feet like crackling glass. Oh no, I see the news vans. They're already here, set up with their satellite dishes spiraling skyward. I am confident that they are waiting for me. Should I turn around? There is a small crowd gathered out front of the high school's front steps. Not just reporters, but members of the public too. Baga, some of them have brought hand-painted poster board signs. They're too far away for me to read, but I can imagine what they'll say. They'll be about me, and definitely not be pronouncements of support. Schools for friends, not fangs. Keep mythicals where they belong. Separation is not discrimination, or something along those lines. I slink along the edge of the marsh towards the backside of the school. The soccer and lacrosse teams practice early in the morning, so I am hoping they leave the gymnasium doors unlocked. Not one for sports myself. I can't fathom getting out of bed 2 hours early to chase around a damn ball. Pardon me for saying so, and I am keenly aware that this is an unpopular opinion. But I just don't understand the general public's fascination of chasing around a round hunk of leather and rubber. I mean, sure, if the ball were filled with gold or chocolate or $10 bills, I could understand the appeal. But why is the ball so enticing? Why do they feel compelled to shove it into hoops or goalposts or wherever the hell it is they're supposed to stick it? I just don't get sports. I jiggle the handle. Fortunately, it's unlocked. I scurry inside and quietly shut the door behind me. Students aren't supposed to be in the corridors before classes begin without written permission. Never having been a member of a before-school club, not that I haven't tried to gain admittance, I have no such script to proffer an inquisitive member of the faculty. No, I better just keep to the sides of the blue and gray checked hallways and dive into doorways if I sense someone coming. I figure the safest place to wait at the beginning of classes is in the cafeteria. There, students will gather to finish up last bits of homework, play Dungeons and Demons, stream videos, and gab. It's usually not too crowded, and befitting today's situation, it looks out onto the entrance courtyard. I can spy on events as they unfold. My progress towards the waiting area is unopposed. I dump my belongings, check my sweat-dampened wristwatch to see how many minutes remain before the first bell, and fan the tails of my shirt to admit a draft. Only 8 o'clock and I'm already sweating profusely. I feel like a pig, which is ironic seeing how pigs aren't capable of sweat. But that hasn't stopped my delightful peers from calling me thus, Sweaty Piggy Boy. That's just one of the delightful monikers with which they've dubbed me. Dog, Fatso, Fag Dragon, Asshole. I sit down and take out a pencil and a notebook. I do some light sketching and pretend to be engrossed in my artwork, but really I am studying the windows with my peripheral vision. In this instance, I feel grateful for my ever so slightly too widely spaced eyes. Outside, there's a kid with an arm in a sling, widely gesticulating with his other arm as he talks with 2 news reporters. I can only see his back, but I recognize his shape and tremble from the memory of last observing it. A gaggle of onlookers circle around. I can finally read some of their signs, and it's about what I anticipated. School is for learning, not zookeeping. Learners, not burners. Keep my child safe from monsters. Mythicals equal no safety, no peace. I mean, come on, you'd think after all these years they'd come up with expressions that were a bit more clever? If scrounging up a touch of empathy or kindness from them is too much, could they at least hone their wits? Am I really asking for too much? Despite my glib dismissal of their inflammatory rhetoric, the vice around my internal organs clicks a few notches tighter. I reach into my bag and pull out 3 bananas that remain. I swallow them in quick succession, consideringly eye my 2 packed lunches. I always bring 2 because A, my hunger is seldom sated, and B, too often one of the lunch bags ends up stomped on, thrown in the trash, or spat into and torn apart. I've learned to always hedge my bets with a reserve. I am just about to turn away and focus on my drawing in earnest when I notice something. A young woman, I think I know her, has turned toward my window and is staring at me. I hunch down a little lower, causing her eyebrows to raise towards her hairline. Shit. She's identified me. She's tapping her neighbor next to her and pointing. He turns, sees me too, and his mouth opens in a shout. Oh no, this is not good. This is not how this morning was supposed to go. I hurriedly cram all my stuff into my knapsack and scramble for the hallway. I hear the clang of electric steel doors bursting open. I don't turn to look. I can feel the pulsing stomp of shoes and boots on the terrazzo tiles behind me. I'm booking it, bursting down hallways at top speed. I am not a good runner, but thankfully adrenaline and terror are powerful catalysts for locomotion. Feeling like I'm pursued by a mob of angry villagers ready to burn me at the stake, which, in all fairness, is not far from the truth. I am flinging myself down stairwells, racing through corridors, and hurtling through unlocked vestibules. Anything and everything I can do to put physical distance between me and them is my aim. I briefly consider hiding in a bathroom stall, but I figure that's too obvious. Most of the students know I already spend too many passing periods and lunchtimes crouched in their handicapped stall, pretending to disappear. They'll look for me in there. No, instead I head towards the art hallway. There's a pottery classroom I've been in a few times, and there's a big closet in the back where they store extra supplies. Maybe it'll be open. Maybe I'll be able to escape this rampage with my body intact. Luck is on my side. As I sprint into the classroom, I see the closet door standing ajar in the back. I hurry within, pull the door closed, and fumble for the lock. My fingers meet with empty space. Shit! I picked a hiding spot that can't be bolted shut. I stagger to the back and yank in front of me whatever I can grab, namely some mops and brooms. Not much of a camouflage, but to my flustered brain, it's better than nothing. A 220-pound quarter dragon hiding behind a few mop and broom handles. Well planned, Bondi! I shake violently and the wood and plastic rat-a-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat against each other. Fuck, I wish everyone would just go away. I wish they'd just leave me to die in peace from terror and shame. I really should not have come to school today, or yesterday, or perhaps any day ever. I hear the voices getting louder. I can tell that they're spreading out, buzzing through the surrounding rooms like a swarm of angry bees. At least one has entered the pottery room beyond my door, just a thin sheet of wood separating me from what they'll undoubtedly claim to be justified retribution. Tearing my arms and legs from my torso. That's what I'm imagining. Drawing and quartering, slicing me into 4 and tying each limb to a horse set to gallop in opposing directions. You know, it's been a hot minute since I've heard a story about people like me being lynched so viciously, but it doesn't mean it couldn't happen here today. Putting me in my rightful place. That's what they'll say it was. I shake harder and cannot stop. I sincerely wish I could because I am drawing attention to myself. Voices are mounting, others are filtering in. They know I'm here. They are sniffing me out like a foxhound hunting its prey. Shh, do you hear that? One of them asks. Nah, that's just an air vent, replies another. I don't think so. It's coming from over there. My grip tightens. I hear the snaps and crackles as handles shatter within my fists. Sharp stabs of jagged plastic press through my greenish skin. The top lengths of broom and mop clatter to the floor. I can't let go. They are approaching. They're being tentative, unsure what lurks behind closed doors. You open it, one of them says. No, you. I'm not going to be the one to confront that freak. What if he burns me? He's still young. You might not know how to control it yet. Didn't stop him yesterday. All right, let's all go in there. Okay, on the count of 3? Sure. My breathing ceases. My rib cage prickles with icicles. Is this what the prologue to death sounds like? 1, 2 of them say together. My heart is a jackhammer demolishing concrete. I close my eyes and tears run down my cheeks. 2, a few more join in. A blistering coal flares in my belly. My throat swells with heartburn. This is not where I'm going to die. 3, they all shout as the door budges open. So that's chapter 1 of I Dreamt of Flight, a queer fantasy novel. What do you think? First impressions, thoughts? Is this something you would be excited to hear more of? Would you like me to continue reading from this book as I continue to develop it and move it towards publication? What are your thoughts? I love this story. It's been sitting with me for almost 4 years now. I first wrote this book back in 2018, couldn't get it published, wanted traditional publishing, got 250 rejection letters, so shelved it. Took it back down this year, reapproached it, tore it apart, added a bunch of things, made it much more gay. And I love it. I love it. So thus far, don't see any headway being made with traditional publishers. Just got a bunch more rejection letters, so I'm probably just going to self-publish it, which I think is great. I'll do an audiobook for it, so if you like this, I know there'll be a more polished version available for Audible. Yeah, what are your impressions? I love this story. I'm so excited to share it with you. I can't wait to hear your thoughts. I'm Kay. If you're a fan of this, please do hit subscribe and the bell next to it to be alerted about upcoming posts. Check me out on Patreon, patreon.com/ecstaticself, or my website, ecstaticself.com, where you can find out more about me and the life coaching I do and how I might be of service to you. Hope you have a wonderful day. Be well.